I am a serial entrepreneur. Can you guys hear me without this?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you prefer I speak like this? So I'm a serial entrepreneur and I help people increase their wealth through e-commerce. So I remember not so long ago I was sitting in the same position as you guys, and I remember I used to come to school thinking to myself, hopefully I'm going to learn something that the lecture's going to either teach me how to make money or how I'm going to get a job or something like that. So I thought today would be a great opportunity for me to come back and give back and actually teach you guys how to make money from where you are today. So like I said, I was a student. I did BCom Politics, Philosophy and Economics over here. Just like you guys, or some of you guys, I used to cram the Wits Library the day before my exam. And I don't know how you guys feel, but my most vivid memory of this place was definitely how comp maths and stats used to kick my ass. I don't know if it's the same for you guys. So my goal for today essentially is to teach you everything I know about e-commerce and to change your guys' mindset from being a consumer of e-commerce to a producer of e-commerce. And the reason why I believe e-commerce is so important for you guys is because when I was in this place, I used to start my own businesses, but I started the wrong business. I wish that someone came and told me how to start e-commerce because it's got a low barrier of entry. It doesn't require that many resources for you to start, and you can increase your wealth very, very quickly in a short amount of time without doing much. So, what is e-commerce? So, just a long and short of it, e-commerce is any transaction that happens online. So, whether you ordering something from Uber Eats or whether you're on the website, Shein or Takealot, and you take your credit card details, or your parents' credit card details, or your debit card details, and you put in that information, and there's a transaction. That is a function of e-commerce. So any transaction that happens online, that is basically e-commerce. So I graduated from here in 2017. It was very, very hard for me. I must be honest, it was during the PCMS4. And I decided I want to do honors. And the reason why I didn't want to do honors is because I said to myself, I need to make money real quick, you know? And then since that day, I've never been employed by anybody. I've never written my CV. I haven't done anything. Everything, all the money that I've generated has been for my business. And the business model that helped me very, very much is e-commerce. So I'm going to give you the trick of e-commerce. I call this the wealth formula in e-commerce. So if you want to build wealth, or if you want to be rich for a simpler term, what you need for e-commerce is a mindset, you need skill sets, and you need an asset. So the most important thing to remember from here is that assets attract income. I know a lot of people say get a job and stuff like that, but if you want to have money and you don't want to work for it, you need something for an asset, or you need skill sets that make you an asset to other people. Because right now, how the world works, or how they teach you is that, okay, go get a job, and then in return for the time that you spend, whether you get that experience or you're very dedicated to the skill, then the business will hire you for your time. But what I hope to achieve today is that I will teach you guys how to build your own assets, so your asset will be the thing that attracts income. Right now, if you don't have enough money in your bank account, or you're not happy with your state, there's two reasons for that. One, you don't have any assets. And maybe you consider your bank account as an asset, but you need to think about something that can bring money in. And the second thing is your skill set. Do you have skill sets where valuable people are actually looking out for you? You know? So remember this formula: mindset plus skill set plus assets equal wealth. So the first thing is your mindset. It's supposed to be like a 50-cent tune when you play it, but I'm sorry, guys, technical difficulties. But ideally, for mindset, guys, it's okay to want to be rich. It's okay to want to have wealth. It's okay to want a Ferrari. And if you're not that way, then it's okay to also to look after your family, to give them enough money, to think generational wealth. I think the one thing that's growing up, or what I've realized looking back, is that a lot of people with peers and everybody, no one ever talks about money. No one ever talks about, okay, well, how we're going to come together and bring money. And the second reason why I think mindset is so important is that, just by show of hands, how many people do you know have actually graduated from a job, from Wits or from a university, and they don't have a job? You know, how many people did you know that actually have a job and they hate their job? And how many people do you know actually have a job and actually it's not paying you enough? We live in a country where the unemployment is very, very high. The graduate unemployment is really, really high. And I think I read on Google the other day that every year 250,000 students leave the tertiary system to enter the labor force, but only 30% of them actually get jobs. So from 250,000 people graduating, only 75,000 people get jobs. you know. So I think we have to be realistic. We have to think about, are we going to choose the entrepreneur route or are we going to choose the unemployed route? But I think it's very, very important right now, especially those who are maybe a year before graduating, or maybe this is your first year, to actually sit amongst your friends and to think to yourself, okay, cool, yes, I'll get a degree and maybe I'll get a job, but what if I make this amount of money while I'm studying? Because I tell you right now, when you're in varsity, you want to take as many risks as possible. Because the moment you leave this place, there's bills. I don't know if some of you guys are using NASFAS for pay, they start asking for your money back, and you don't want to be in a position where you're stressed. You want to be in a position where you're blessed, where you have an e-commerce site and you have an asset and you're making money and you can make decisions based on what lifestyle you want to live, not based on, you know, who you need to pay next. So mindset is really, really important, guys. And I know not many people want to, they take mindset as a thing that you can put in the backseat, but if you don't have the right mindset, how are you going to deal with the failures that are going to come? How are you going to actually teach yourself a new skill? Because, you know, you do need skills in any place that's valuable. So the 6 skills of e-commerce, and I tell you, these 6 skills are very important that they work together, but I promise you, if you get good at just one skill, you can even start your own business as a consultant in that skill and someone will pay you. But if you can get all these suites of skills together, your e-commerce site will definitely run. So the first skill is product research. The second one is building a website. The third is digital marketing. The fourth is paid social media advertising. The fifth is logistics and shipping and logistics. And the final one is customer service. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to literally go through each skill set and break it down. And literally we can go step by step. So by the time you leave today, you'll have an understanding, okay, how can you start, you know? So the first is product research. Again, a high value products bring you high income. And what's a high value product? A value product is something you can see and solves a problem immediately, you know? And where can you find this? I don't know how many people on TikTok or Instagram or anything like this, just for a show of hands. How many times have you seen an ad or somebody showing you a little like device and it's really cool and stuff like that? That is a high valuable product. So next time you're on TikTok or on Instagram, please stop and look at that product and see what problem they're solving, see the amount of engagement, see the amount of likes, because what that will tell you is that that is a valuable product that you can sell, you know? And the way that you find these products, so if you go on Instagram or if you go on TikTok, you find that product, you go to a site called AliExpress. So AliExpress essentially is a website that connects all the Chinese manufacturers that sell these toys, or if you have a great relationship, they will actually manufacture the toy for you. So next time you're on Facebook or Instagram, please stop on that video, look for the name of that video, and then go to aliexpress.com and see if you can find that product. And then you know, okay, cool, whenever you see a cool product, or if you have a business idea, or you have an audience of friends and you know there's a problem, you can go to AliExpress and create a product that you can sell. So this is something that people don't know, that every time you're looking on Instagram, there's actually opportunity for you to find high valuable products. The second thing is building a website, you know? Contrary to popular belief, guys, we actually don't need to know code, you don't need to become a software developer, you don't need to waste the time on anything like that, you know? So there are 2 platforms, Shopify and WordPress. And essentially what these platforms are, they're called website builders. So essentially you can see it and you can drag and drop certain products. About 25% of the websites found online are made through WordPress. And if you buy something online right now from like a boutique store or someone from Instagram, their website is probably powered by Shopify. So this thing of you guys need to wait on a developer or anything like that, you don't need to do that. And the best thing about these platforms is that they are free. You know, Shopify, I believe they have like a 14-day free trial. And then with WordPress, it's completely free. So literally, like I said, it's got a low barrier of entry. So if you can find a product on social media, go on AliExpress and learn how to build a website. You can constantly test maybe 5, 10, 20 products a year. But if you're making sales, you only need one product to become successful. And that's your bits fees and your club fees down for the whole year. The third thing is digital marketing, okay? One of the most important things in life is that attention is very valuable. You see a rise of influencers, you see a lot of people watching YouTube, but the one thing that you have to learn from them is that they know how to bring attention to a certain place, you know. So they have this thing called content is king, engagement is queen. So all those ladies and all the gents who are really good at social media, really good at Instagram with the filters and the pictures, this is where you should shine, because the better you are at making content, the easier it is to convince somebody to buy from your store, you know. So it's really important for you guys to be understanding, okay, what is the next social media platform that's up on the rise, to make sure that you're creating content, make sure that you have followers or audience, because that's where you find out, okay, cool, what do they want from you, what do they want to sell. And digital marketing is very important. The next thing that leads into to social media advertising is paid advertising. So I know you guys should all have Instagram, but that blue button that says boost post, that is basically social media advertising. When you put money to promote a product, whether it be Google ads, Facebook ads, TikTok ads and everything like that, it's very important. And this is going back to attention, right? Sometimes you have to pay for the attention. And the rule that I'm going to teach you right now, how many of you guys do stats or kilometers? Yeah, no, it's very important. You know, and the reason why it's very important is because this is how you make most of your money, and this is called the golden rule of 1%. So essentially, what the rule is, for your ad reach, 1% of your ad reach will convert into your paying customers. Okay, so to break it down simply, okay, let's say we are selling this cap for 100 rand. You only have 100 rand in your bank account right now. You've met with your friends. You're out there making content and you're convincing people to sell this cap. This is from New York, but you might say, okay, Durban and everything like that, and it's 100 rand per cap. So with your last 100 rand in your bank account, what you're gonna do, you're gonna go to Instagram, you're gonna click that blue button that says boost. Now, when you click that blue button, Instagram might say to you, if you boost this for 100 rand a day, you're gonna reach 1,000 people. Or you might have 1,000 impressions, or your ad reach will be 1,000. So 1,000 people wanna see this piece of content, right? From those 1,000 people who see this piece of content, let's say only 100 people convert on your website because you have a link on this ad. So they click this link, they go to your website, which you built with Shopify or WordPress, and it's very beautiful. People are engaging. But from that 100 people, only 10 people will buy this cap, right? So that's 10 times 100. So that's 1,000 rand. You only put in 100 rand, you're coming out with 1,000. So 1,000 ad reach times 1% equals 10 customers. So when you're looking at your store and when you're thinking about, okay, how do I grow my business? How do I get better? You always have to think, okay, how do I create engaging content that when I boost my post, it doesn't only reach 1,000 people. It maybe reaches 2,000, 10,000, because 1% of 10,000 becomes 100 versus 1% of 1,000 people. So this is something very important, and the golden rule works with anything. Whether you are advertising on TikTok or Instagram or anything, just know that if a post is going to have a reach of 1,000, just know, okay, cool, your real money is going to be 10. So you're making calculations based on 1%. The next thing is shipping and logistics. I have a business partner. She's a female and she's really great at this part. It's because packaging runs the world, guys. People like receiving gifts that are nicely packed with a nice thank you gift and stuff like that. So always focus on packaging. And the second thing is your shipping times. There are a lot of scammers online, guys. I know maybe you guys have had an experience where you've bought something online and you just don't know when it's going to come and you feel very uncomfortable with it. So you want to ensure that when you start an e-commerce business, you want to make sure that your product gets to the end user in 14 days or less. Ideally, you want to go 3 to 5 business days, you know, and if you're shipping to first world countries from here, from South Africa, and there's another thing, guys, you don't actually have to have stock to start e-commerce, you know. Like I said, if you have factories in China and you see a nice product, if you build a nice website and you have a nice social media page and you boost, essentially what happens is that you advertise for them, you receive money on your website, you take the address and give it to your manufacturer in China, and they ship out to people globally. You know, this has been happening forever since 2017 in other countries, and I'm hoping you guys will start today. So that's called drop shipping, you know. So with that, you want to make sure that your AliExpress link Remember, AliExpress is where we go to find these products. So they are the same people who can also help us ship the products. But if you want to take a private label, so private label essentially means that it is your brand, you put in your logo, you take care of packaging, and you're making sure that the goods come into South Africa. Then you want to use a platform called youthafrica.com. Essentially what youthafrica.com is like the Uber of delivery. So your courier guy, your Ariamax, the Internet Express, what they do is that you'll say, okay, my warehouse is here at Wits. I've got a customer out in Sandton. You go to UXpress and you say, you type in the delivery address, the customer's delivery address, and then all the courier people come up and they're like, okay, to get your product from here to Sandton might cost $50, $60, and that's where you'll be making money. So here's a cheap trick. I know every time people buy something online, they always sound 99 Rand delivery fee. But the truth of the matter, it doesn't cost 99 Rand to send it there. So people are making money on the front end of the sale, and then they're also making money on the shipping side of the sale. And you need to be tactical when it comes to this. And then the last thing is customer service. Customer service is amazing when your business is sorted, but it's also very difficult if you just started, because what happens in customer service, people complain, where's my order, where's the tracking link and stuff like that. So to mitigate that, you wanted to have customer service before the customer makes a sale, you want to have customer service during, and you want to have customer service after. And how does that look like? So before, you want to make sure that you have Instagram DM, guys. Instagram, you can do so much on Instagram. You want to make sure that you have an Instagram account just to start, because before people buy your product, they're going to ask you questions. They're going to ask you frequently asked questions. How long does the delivery time? Or they'll be like, do you have this variation here, stuff like that. And to ensure that you're not a scammer to the people, buying from you want to be quick on your response. If you want to take it a level further, you want to have WhatsApp, so you can send people that. I don't know how many people how many people have actually bought something from Instagram. Okay, and some people don't have Instagram. Sometimes they lead you to their WhatsApp, and they'll tell you. So literally, the future of e-commerce is chat. So if you already have a WhatsApp there, and you're sending people there, they can ask you pre-sale questions. It's easier for you to convert them on WhatsApp. And remember, we talked about the golden rule of 1%, right? So if you can increase that from 1% to 2%, and the way you do that is through chat. If before the pre-sale people see the ad and they come to your WhatsApp and you're like, this is amazing, these are the reviews, then you make them feel comfortable before they're making the purchase. During the sale, guys, you've got to make sure that whoever does your logistics, they give you a tracking link. The worst thing that you can ever have as a customer is not knowing when your order's going to come, because you want to track every single step of the process. And if you don't have that, your customers are going to boil down like, oh, you're scamming me. So you want to ensure that you have a tracking link to send to your customers and ensure that they have an order information. So what's nice with WordPress and Shopify is that when someone makes a purchase on your website, they immediately get an email saying, okay, you've received an order, And then based on AliExpress or YouAfrica, you can definitely send them a tracking link just to settle the ease of the customer. Another important thing is to have a support email, just to make yourself look credible, because people might be like, oh, I don't know what's happening with the tracking link, the courier people are saying this, but they haven't been here. You want to be like, business is about convincing a customer that they're making the right decision for themselves. The more touch points that you have for meeting the customer, the more communication you have, the easier and the more amount of money they're going to give you because they trust you. You're not going to do business with people you don't trust. And how do you increase trust? Communication. So that's why you want to have before, during, and after. And then afterwards, once people have made the sale, you don't want to forget them, because they're going to come back to you. So you want to ensure that you say, hey, please make a review on my website, or please post and share it on the screen, because nothing beats word of mouth. And remember what I said, we're going to do paid advertising. If 100 Rand ad spend brings us 1,000, right? It's going to be cheaper for us if we get our 10 customers who bought our cat to post for us, because they're going to bring all their followers, and how much will they pay for that? 0. So which means we're gaining profit every time we gain people to review. And you'll always see all the best brands online, they have huge following. I tell you now, and I've learned this, like I said, working with my business partner, before she buys anything online, she goes onto that Instagram tab, that shit, like who else has tagged these people, and then she sees, okay, cool, this is a legit brand, So that's another thing. Like social proof is so important. You gotta make sure that your customers speak about your brand, and then the business will just do it automatically and everything like that, So that's the skill set. So we spoke about the mindset. You have to believe that you deserve to be wealthy. You have to believe that you don't have to work hard to increase, to make a huge amount of wealth, and obviously the skills. But I just spoke about the 6 skills, right? If you master each skill, the more money you're gonna make. It's that simple. But if you're not making sales, then there's a skill that you're lacking. So for instance, let's say you're really, 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 really good at making websites. You find the product, but your content is ugly. Maybe you shot your content from Android and you're posting it on social media. I'm just joking. It's looking a bit dizzy. You will on Instagram. You will definitely you might have a product, people excited, and then now you boost an ad, and then instead of this ad reaching 1,000 people, it's reaching 200 people. So now 1% of 200 is like 2. That's not good enough. So okay, cool, my website's good, my product's good, okay, I need to partner with somebody to help my content be better. Or it could be a case where your content looks good, your ad looks good, but the problem is your shipping times. People might say, hey, you're receiving this thing in 40 days. People will be like, no way, this is a scam. So you have to start thinking methodically and say, okay, where in my value chain is this letting me down? So this is called, I don't know if you guys read the book, The Lean Startup by Eric Ries, but essentially what it is, it's build, measure, learn. So you're gonna build your prototype, let it run the ads, and then you're gonna see, okay, where in my system or in my skill set have I been let down, And then from there, once you understand what's going on, you're able to, scale your business, you're able to go to different countries, because now you know what works in a specific region, and you know what your target audience, and you know what kind of product sells. Now that we spoke about my skill set, we're going to talk about assets, The most important thing, guys, yes, we're building an asset, right? But you will also realize the moment that you get really good at making content, a lot of people come to you and say, hey, okay, cool, please make content for me. Or they'll be like, hey, you're really good at making paid advertising, So these are one of my stores and its performance and stuff like that. As you can see, we started last year, and this is the amount of money, like I said, I'm able to come here and talk to you guys while this is happening. So this is real, I wish that someone came to me and told me this while I was in here, because I'm now 30, So imagine if I was 25 and I was making just this, and this is like not trying. And like I said, the better you get at the skill set, the more you're gonna make. And the best thing about this is that once you understand the value of how to attribute this money to yourself and everything like that, then you understand that, okay, cool, you can look at other people's businesses and say, hey man, this is what's wrong, and then people will pay you and stuff like that. So like I said, I've been employed by myself, and literally the businesses that I have started have literally been after my e-commerce brands, because people will be like, how did you do this? And then they'll pay you for that, and you can charge them whatever you want to charge them, And that is why I think it's very, very important for you guys not to be looking at a job, but you can right now, next year, I see the next time I come back here, you guys are need to hear success stories, or you guys need to be making more money and you're not even in this class, But this is very, very important. And the one thing I want you guys to understand, that the biggest myth that people will tell you is that time equals money. That's how people get you and convince you and trick you. They say, time equals money. Guys, if I was to give you R1 million today, and I said, you're gonna die, you're gonna take that money. Why? Because you care about your life, right? But if I said to you, okay, cool, you've got R1 million or 10 million in your pockets right now, and you're in a rare disease, and then they said to you, it's gonna cost you 10 million to take care of this disease, what are you gonna do with that 10 million? You're giving it away. So the more you can start thinking like, okay, cool, what opportunities are there around me to ensure that I can make a lot of money without putting a lot of my time? Maybe in the beginning you will, because you need to build up the skills, but you do not want to, guys, look, if you think about a Ferrari, or a Rolls Royce costs about 7 million, right now. The Toyota costs maybe 400,000 rand. Do you think that Toyota, do you think like the Rolls Royce, they built the car different? It's got 4 wheels, get you A to B, but it's value. You gotta be able to convince, and these are the things that you have to put in your mind. I understand that, okay, cool, people are under pressure, you have to pass, yes, that's important, but what's really important is what do you want out of life? What do you want to prepare for yourself? What do you want to give to your family and stuff like that? And then you have to think, okay, cool, how do I get my first asset? Because that's what's good. People are going to pay you per salary, they're going to pay you for amount of value. And if you don't have an asset, you got to start working on your skill set. Because the difference between the money that you want and where you are right now is literally skill sets and assets, So this is it. As you can see, it's a bit outdated because it's not, today's the 18th of October. But what I'm trying to do is just inspire you guys and say, look, another story. So I'll give you just a backdrop in terms of how I actually got here. I graduated in 2017, but at that same time, I was running a non-profit. The reason I ran a non-profit is because I didn't back myself. I didn't believe that I had the skills to run a for-profit business, so I said, you know what, let me start with a non-profit, let me learn leadership, let me learn all these kind of things. And then what happened is that when I really got good at non-profit stuff, I realized that I need more money to actually help more people because I need fundraisers, I need that, and I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna go to for-profit. I've run events, nightclubs and stuff like that, and then I think the last big thing that I did was I was involved in bringing Sophia the robot into South Africa with Duke, and we held a live stream called Million Young Minds, and we streamed Sophia the robot to like 1 million children to teach them about artificial intelligence and stuff like that. I was running workshops and stuff like that. So I've had periods where it's been like this, and then I hit COVID, they closed down my business, and I was like, oh my gosh, SARS came, all those things, and then I had to reinvent myself, and I said, okay, cool, what am I gonna do? I can't go outside, I can't talk to people, I can build websites. I built websites for influencers, I started seeing them making sales, and I said, you know what, let me do this. Then I started doing drop shipping in the States. I was selling 4D mascara. I didn't do too well. Every time I made a sale, I was losing money. So I was charging $27 at this exchange rate. I don't know, that's like $600. But it cost me $29. Why did it cost me? Because I was paying for ads, to run my business. And then I realized, you know what, I'm not gonna do that no more. Then we partnered with some influencers to start my brand. And literally in like less than a year, I made this amount of money, and like this is one of the other brands that I have. There's other like agencies and everything like that. So this is not the be all and end all, So it's really, really important for me to actually drive into you guys to be like, okay, I don't have to work. I don't have to wait until retirement for me to become a millionaire. I don't have to wait for someone to pay me. I can pay myself. I just need those 6 skill sets, and then you figure it out. So essentially, before we go into questions and stuff like that, I do have a course that will teach you how to do everything step by step. I mean, if you guys want to have a few questions, I can come and give you all the details. But literally, I don't know how many of you guys have missed lectures sometimes, and you just wish there was like a video for you just to watch, and you wish that whatever you watched in the lecture would come up in the test, and it just never happens. This is different. Everything that you see me do here is literally how we building a store step by step, teach you how to register a company, teach you how to get a payment gateway, teach you how to do that, so that at least okay, you got it. Because I'll tell you one thing in life as well, guys. Once you leave here and you want to make some real money, you're gonna pay people to teach you certain things, because you don't have time to go spend 5 years and become a master at that thing. You want to make sure that, okay, cool, how much do I have to pay this person to get this skill in a short amount of time? Because why? We're at the stage where time is more important than money. That's why we employ people, right? That's why people are really coming out looking for students, because we want you to do the work or we get the profit, So I really, really try to make this as affordable as for you guys and stuff like that, but I'm more than happy to discuss and everything. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of the presentation. You guys have any other questions, any detail, and I'm more than happy to share. Thank you guys. Yes?
You mentioned like using AliExpress to find products.
Yeah.
And bit confused on something. So how is it not? Is there not some barriers in terms of selling someone else's products? Because I would assume.
No. So just to answer that, so I promise you right now, everything here comes from China. It's something that you've got and everything like that. And the reason that who does economics here? Okay, so there's a term where there's called when you're good at something, I forgot what it's called. When you're better than the other country at something. Specialization. Hey, you guys are passing, man. Specialization. So when you look at the economy and you look at China, they are specialized in cheap labor and they're specialized in manufacturing. So that's why they're able to pump out so many goods, right? But the problem that they have in China is their government, right? The problem that they not actually, China doesn't have Google there, by the way, so they can't connect, right? So Alibaba or Jack Ma was really, really smart, and he created this platform called AliExpress and Alibaba, and he went up to all the manufacturers and said, you guys are producing so much, right? But you don't know where to sell it. Come to my website on AliExpress and I'll connect you to the rest of the world, right? So even if you go on Shein right now, a lot of the products on Shein are from AliExpress because they have contacts with the manufacturers. So the point of dropshipping is that they actually want you to sell their good for them because all they're good at is specializing in pumping out products. So if you're selling, let's say, 1,000 units a month, you can even go to the manufacturer and say, man, I'm not paying that, no, I'm not paying $1. And they'll be like, no, my friend, okay, what do you want me to do? Or my friend, you want the delivery to come through. And these are the things, these are the things that people don't teach you, you know. So I really encourage you in the beginning, depending on how much money you have and how big, and in fact, you'll see with this course, if you go in there, I will teach you how to build a website that's like Takealot, right? Why like Takealot? Because you don't know which product's gonna win, right? So you go on Instagram every day or TikTok or whatever like that and you be like, oh, that product's amazing. You go on AliExpress, you find that product, you say that's gonna be product number one. So if you got like 20, 30 good products and you have it on your website and you're getting different sales from that, you're making good money, but then you're gonna become smart because you're gonna be like, you know what, this product is making too much money and you've been selling it in America, in Canada, all that kind of stuff. Let me actually bring it here in South Africa, in Africa. Then you're going to speak to the manufacturer and say, hey, manufacturer, we're going to put my logo on it. We're going to put my packaging in it. And this is what I want from you. Terms and conditions, you're going to ship it to my warehouse here, and then you're going to start selling it through what? Your Africa. And you're going to do the deliveries. So the way that I'm trying to inform this course and to ensure that you guys win is that I'm gonna show you one product that you can sell, but more importantly, I want you guys to get into the habit, be like, okay, why is this a good product? Who can I see? Okay, I promise you, if you go to Instagram right now, you will see a lot of beauty brands. Why? Women are so good at buying anything, and women don't even just buy for themselves. Now I'm telling you, this is like, I'm from the data. Like when your woman buys online, they buy for their friend, they buy for their dad, they encourage their spouse to do stuff like that. And if a woman loves your product, they'll go and tell. So if you think about how many influencers out there with skin brands, cosmetics brands, jewelry brands, all those kind of stuff. And those guys are doing well. And how do they do it? They go to China and say, okay, cool. So that's what you want to do. I'm going to teach you a way that you don't, oh yeah, another thing guys, I've never had anybody else's money. No one has given me funds, no one's that. This is just taking what I've got and reinvested it into the business and stuff like that, you know. So if you have a few products from AliExpress or Alibaba, and let's say only one of them works, and you keep selling that one, you're like, okay, I really believe in that one, then you can go and build a bigger brand and you can start doing like that. I'm telling you now, DJ Zinhle, all of those guys, those are my competitors in other business, and I understand those. They do the same thing. All have the same manufacturing in China. Some of them might get it sent to Durban port, get in big stock. Some people might be sending it straight. But this is something that I feel like you guys need to know the information because Takealot, all these people, and the next time you go into Takealot, anything like that, I dare you to go and look at that product and go to AliExpress and you'll find it for cheaper. And you'll be thinking, oh, you guys are making money with me when I can do the same thing, you know? So to answer that question, it's not a problem. But if you put your own logo on it and stuff like that, you can't obviously steal someone else's logo. And the nice thing about if you have a great relationship with your manufacturer in China, you can actually tell them, you know, I changed my product like this, and then they'll have an agreement with you where you cannot sell your product elsewhere. The reason why China does this is because, for those who watch economics and all those news and stuff like that, they're competing against the United States to be the #1 country in the world. What makes you the #1 country if everyone's buying from you? So China will make sure protect you guys and say, hey, you guys aren't allowed to sell duplicates, you aren't allowed to sell fakes, because they have this bad reputation that China's Falcon, China's everything like that. So they try to remove that. If you think about the phone brand Huawei, they weren't here 5-10 years ago, it was just Apple and Samsung. But China's at that level where they want everybody to come and start investing and stuff. But the problem with us South Africans is that we didn't have access to the internet, so the Americans have been making money. I don't know if you guys watch those YouTube videos of like 6-year-olds putting up the Lambos and Bugattis. I learned from them. They taught me, and then I got this money. I was like, oh, I ain't going back, you know. So that's why I was like, I'm not doing no honors, I'm not doing anything like this. So think about this, guys. You're paying. I don't know how much you guys are paying for tuition fees, right? You're paying that on a yearly basis. It's so hard to pass, guys. I know, I've been here. And then at the end of the year, or the end of the graduation, you spend like 250,000 Rand, right? You go into your job, you're supposed to pay back the debt. But before you even make any money, you already 250,000 Rand down. Why not just make money while you're here? Okay? Why don't you just do that? And then you can say, okay, cool, what's going on? So this is, I'm glad there's no lectures, I'm glad there's nobody here so they come back, because they don't want me to tell you this. But it's very important for you guys to look at money differently and see how you can strategically partner. And your biggest partner right now, no matter what they say about China, just know that China wants to make you rich. Because if you get an order, they have to produce it. And they will charge you $1, you will sell it for $20. And they have no problem with that. And that's why you can make the difference in that. So to answer that question, it's not going to be a problem, but just don't go and steal other people's products. And some people's products you won't find there. And guys, look here. It's all about knowing where you start and based on your balance, right? I'm not gonna come and tell you now, hey man, go start an electronics company, drop ship. No, I'm gonna say start small and then build. That's why I'm saying you have many training products on your store, then you see the one that's making many sales, then you private label that. Once you've got enough money, then you can start locally manufacturing here, and then you can start giving people your jobs. But at the end of the day, you can start giving employ people, you know? But the thing is, you have to have the mindset of understanding how you get to this stage. I think I saw a question in the back.
So I wanted to ask, how big are the legal taxes?
That's why you gotta have some Chinese friends, that's why sometimes, you know. So based on the import, so what's nice about AliExpress, depending on where geographically you're selling it, right? These guys, like I said, they've had factories for a long time, but another thing they've had a long time is a thing called shipping routes. And here's another thing in economics. You know, there's like an equation that's saying transport costs, right? Import and export. So based on how familiar China is with that shipping route, you know, so if you look at the map, the United States and where China is, right? They're literally very close to each other. Like LA and China, like if you look at the popping brands in LA, because LA is the closest part of America to China. So because of that shipping route, it's very cheap. But if you're looking for shipping routes into like Ghana or South Africa, because we are not ordering quite often from them, they haven't optimized their shipping routes into South Africa. So that's why it's very tough for Africans and South Africans in general just to sell. But if you've got a great relationship and stuff like that, your shipping times can be reduced to 5 to 8 working days. But if you have a great relationship, you guys are recording this, is when you stop recording. If you have a great relationship with the manufacturers, they'll look at the invoice and be like, let's take a zero off that, you know, because you have a great relationship. And then when they see it on customs here, because customs, they check based on what goods you're selling. So they have different input fees. So if you're selling textiles, which is probably, I would not suggest textiles, guys. Unless you have a brand here that's popular already and you're selling, do not sell clothes. Why? Because South Africa is very well known for its textiles and materials, and they put, like every time you buy from like these other global brands in the ship here, the input fees are so expensive because customs sees that as a threat, and you don't need that, you know. But when you sell things that you don't have here, like jewelry or anything like that, the custom is relatively cheap. So even electronics is quite expensive. So depending on the product, it can be very, it varies, right? But I'll be honest with you, if you're ordering it one at a time, there's no input fees. You know, the fee that you pay will be in your shipping fee, and then they'll put a postal fee and stuff like that. But if you're ordering in bulk, that's when you need to become strategic. That's when you need to start thinking about the relationship with your manufacturer, but also in terms of the size quality. And I'll tell you right now, if you look at what's happening in the world, the exchange rate is crazy, you know, and you buy dollars. They don't use the rand that side. Like, in fact, around the world, they don't use the rand, they use the dollar sign. So the fact that we're paying 18 rand 22 cents for a dollar, and you have to purchase things in dollar, but you're selling things here in rands, you know? So you have to start being strategic. And if you're thinking about what's happening with the inflation, the shipping cost of war, and Ukraine and Russia, all those things add up in price, you know? So you have to really be strategic in terms of the product that you're selling. What's the size of the product and all that kind of stuff? Is it electronic and everything like that? So import fees and custom fees vary, but like I said, I have all of the stuff. Like, obviously you can imagine what goes into this, and what my hope was to change your mindset, which I hope I've done, but also give you like the overlay of the land. But in each single segment of each skill set, there's so much more to learn, because the more you know upfront, the less it's going to cost you in the beginning, because I had to obviously put in a lot of money to figure out what works, what doesn't work, because like I said, I don't want you guys to like think, hey man, this electric shaver is really, really cool, and you realize, okay, just to import that thing is like 1,000 rand customs, then it's another 2,000 rand to get it shipped here because of what electronics are and stuff like that. So these are the things that we can move away. But like, do you guys remember like those fidgeters? I don't know if you guys were in high school, some people were spinning things in their fingers. Bro, that's a drop shipping product. The guy made millions. I don't know if you saw the other one, like the teeth whitening, Snow White, when they put it, also Alibaba. That man made millions. So if you look right now, if you some moment go now and look at the top dropshipping brands or e-commerce brands and see how much money those guys have been making, you know. So for instance, let's say you make in 1 year 500,000 rand, right? In e-commerce, if you have an investor or anything like that, they'll value your business times 3 or times 6 based on the multiple, you know. So they'll say, okay, you've made 500,000 rand in revenue, times 3, that is the value of your business. So you learn a lot, but if you watch like a lot of e-commerce channels and stuff like that, you start seeing that, okay, cool, if I make 1 mil, depending on what you have, if you build an app and stuff like that, it might value at 10 mil, which means that the bank is willing to lend you 10 million rand for free based on what? Guys, I'm telling you right now, the way the world works, the way banking, the way financing, the way credit works, is they want to see what assets you have. Based on your assets, they're willing to give you money. Right now, everyone's struggling to get a job, struggling to everything like that. But I promise you, you can move into a new place. With this, you can move into different things. You can do a lot, but they want to use, they want to see what you have, you know. And you don't want to send them an employment letter and give them a 6-month, you know, bank statement of your, you know, of what you make. You want to give them this because they'll be like, okay, actually, this person is actually worth 5 million. Because they're like, yo, this guy's making 500,000 rand on a yearly basis. And if you can learn how to do this on a yearly basis, you'll learn how to do it in 6 months, 2 months, 1 year. Just to make 1 million, let me just break it down. You need to make 3,000 rand a day, right? Now, how are you going to make 3,000 rand a day? Think about what job can pay you right now, 3,000 rand a day, right? Over 7 days, I think that's 21,000 rand in a week. 21,000. 21,000 times 4, what is that? That is like 84,000. 84,000 times 12, that's 1 point something. So I'm literally giving you the game, how to make money. Don't worry about a job. Think about, how can I make just 100 rand a day? What product can you sell? Then from there, you're like, okay, how do I ensure that this product is bought at least, you know, to the amount that is 3,000 rand? So I will tell you straight up, think expensive, right? If you can find a product that you can buy, right, for like maybe 100 rand and you can sell for 1,000 rand or 500 rand or 600 rand, they buy that product 4 or 5 times, you get to 3,000 rand. But if you have a 100 rand product How many times does someone have to buy that to get to 3,000 Rand? So this is, remember, time. What I did there is I just shortened the time, but I increased the money. That's how you need to start thinking. You need to start thinking about your time. Why are you coming to class today? What am I going to gain from here? Okay, I'm coming to class to understand the section so I can pass. When I pass, alright, cool, I'm going to get this. You need to use the same mind frame. Like, okay, cool. How am I going to use my time today so that I can focus on things that are going to bring me money as quickly as possible? So yeah, that's the answer. Yes, at the back.
About like importer's license, how much?
You don't need an importer's license. You don't need, let me tell you, right? I just had a call today. My stock is ready for me at home. All they do, pay them a fee, they ask for your ID number, it's set. Simple. Simple. FedEx, you want to use FedEx, guys. Anytime you want to use FedEx, don't use Aramex or else you're done. UPS, I think there's one question here. Yeah.
How do you have a good relationship with the manufacturer?
Money. You buy from them, they love you. That's why it's very important to make sales. And that's why you guys, the dumbest thing you can ever do is buy something before anybody needs it. There's a trick that I learned from Warren Buffett, guys. What you're interested in, make that a hobby. What other people are interested in, make that your business. Alright? No one cares about what you care about. You know what I'm saying? That's a mistake. You go there, you buy, and you see that you got dead stock, you're hacked, you're broke, you're looking at this like it's so expensive. But that's why I go back to drop shipping. Because if you already got other products there that you don't have inventory and you see they're running out of numbers, then the guy's gonna be like, no, my friend, let's do something quick, And that's the kind of relationship, I tell you the relationship that I have with my lady, right? And let me tell you guys, Chinese, I don't know what they've told you about them, but those guys work hard. Those guys like money. Those guys work on Saturdays. Those guys will send out your stick. If you are doing good business, those guys will fight for you, So my supplier right now, I have like an agent there. I told you the story that I was selling mascara in the States and stuff like that, right? She was in the cosmetics business. She was hassling me for 3 months. I'm frustrated, I'm making money, I'm so excited the first sale, I'm bored, I'm winning dollars, I think I'm balling, but I'm realizing I'm broke because every time I make a sale, I'm losing money. I'm so frustrated, I don't want to talk to any of these Chinese manufacturers, I don't want to do anything. But this lady, also, there's another plan. Guys, get WeChat. Get WeChat. WeChat is literally the WhatsApp of China. Like, these guys don't have these things. They use things like VPN. So if you're on WeChat, you're like one of them. And it's easy communication, right? So she was WeChatting me every day for like 3 months. Bear in mind, I said to her, look, I'm done with cosmetics. I'm not doing cosmetics no more. I was like, what are you doing, my friend? I said, hey man, I'm gonna maybe move into another niche. It's like, I will buy for you. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, I'll buy for you. Till this day, I use that name. You know what I'm saying? So if you find somebody and they see you making sales, they will not abandon you. They won't even tell you, hey, my friend, this product in America is making lots of money. You start selling this product. Okay, this product here is in China. It's about to come out. Try it here. And the nice thing about being so close with the manufacturer is that you can help them develop products. And if you help them develop products, that becomes your product, and they'll be like you see on Alibaba and AliExpress, those guys will put their numbers and they'll be like, we make $10 million a year. So they're not trying to scam you because at the end of the day, why would they scam you? They're making lots of money. I think there was one more question there. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, if you guys have any more questions or if you want to figure out, when next I'm going to speak or what you can expect on the next course, please let me know. And like I said, guys, I hope this has changed your mind. I hope it's really inspired you. I hope it's like all those things they told you about get a job, blah, 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 blah. I hope you just look at it and be like, no, actually, what do I want in my life, And I hope you go on and get it. No, because it's real, guys. I have so many friends, guys. Let me tell you a story, guys. Let me tell you, right? I have so many friends, right? When I graduated, I had so much pressure from my mom. I had so much pressure from all the people, and they're like, oh no, I'm gonna make it far in life. I'm gonna do our honors. I'm gonna go graduate. Blah 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 blah. Yeah. First 2 years was a bit tough. It was tough, I must be honest. Bro, But now it's different because they've got MBAs. Then what's happened? They cut you off first. They'll be like, now you've paid so much money for this certificate. This thing's not bringing in money, and you're sitting here, and the next thing you find yourself with this certificate working at a job that's like 3 levels below, and they tell you it's too much. Whereas me, if I have problems financially, you know what I do? I just raise the price of my shit. You know, sorry about that, but that's what I do. That's what I generally do. And like I said, when you get so good at something, and people know you're good at something, they'll see this and you'll be like, how much does it cost to do that? You make up a number and you tell them they'll pay you. And that's something that you don't get from a job. You have the decision to be like, okay, if you want to say, hey man, I want to go and travel to this place, you can make it travel, but then you have to think again, okay, how much money do I need to make it there? Okay? Now I'm gonna wrap everything all together, right? I told you how to make $1 million, right? We're gonna boost the post. If the post, it says 100 Rand, it's gonna get you 1,000. What happens if you spend 1,000 Rand, right? Maybe it gets you 100,000 views. 100,000 of 1%, I think that's 1,000. Imagine 1,000 people bought this cap. And the thing is, if you're running paid ads and then making money and you're making like a profit margin of at least 5 or 3 times the amount of money, the business runs itself, you know, because at the end of the day, you know, it makes sense for me to, you know, run an ad for 1,000 Rand, because from 1,000 Rand, boosting, I might make 50,000 Rand selling caps at 100 Rand. So this system keeps on piling and piling and piling, and all you gotta do is make sure that your website stays up. You're gonna make sure that SaaS you pay, we gotta pay, and then end of the life, if you think about all the like online brands and stuff like that, like think about Takealot. Takealot came like not so long ago, like 5, 6, 7 years ago. Naspers are killing it, and where did they steal the idea from? They stole it in China. I don't know if you guys know Flipkart. They bought a company there, they bought it here, and they're like, oh, we're making our own thing. Oof. Superbalist, Takealot, they're all owned by the same person. So can you imagine now you sitting here and you say like, hey man, this product's making more money. Let me put another product. In fact, I'm so greedy, let me make another website selling the same product. Different. No, to be honest, why must you do anything else? And everybody, yes?
So tell me, what if this two-step, which is fake accounts? How do you mitigate that?
The thing is,
There are fake accounts.
they're all fake accounts, but it doesn't matter. Because it's a rule of 1%. Remember, my thing is, just because 1,000 people saw your product, it doesn't mean 1,000 people want to buy. You know, 1,000 is going to be 10, right? So all we need, and also, yes, okay, now going back to what you said, when you get inside in terms of social media advertising, that's when you start doing these interests. I don't know if you guys follow Facebook and stuff like that about data's privacy, and you know when you say something, they look, it's really bad for you guys right now because you're on the consumer side. But when you start selling things online, you want that. You know, you want people, if you're selling jewelry and you want someone to say jewelry, you want your brand to pop up, you know? So this is the things that I will teach you there. And then you start targeting your demographic and say, okay, between the ages of 21 and 25 in South Africa, cool, Sonia, all right, the same demographic. Now you've seen what works here. Copy and paste Botswana, copy and paste America, copy and paste, because you already know who's the customer who buys your stuff. So that's the thing, you gotta start, that's why econometrics and stats is so important, because you need to understand the things like variance. You need to understand, okay, from this marginal propensity, what consumption, MPC, you need to understand, okay, cool, I spent 1 Rand there, from this 1 Rand, 30% placement cost, 70% is profit. And you start thinking like that, because you know the funny thing, even though I didn't do honors, I didn't do all the stuff I'm talking to you about, you guys already know. So the only thing that I have over you is time in this game. So the moment that you have gone past, and I promise you, it's going to be time, you're going to fail, you're going to be upset, but the moment you have that aha and you get your first sale and it comes to your email, I promise you'll be so addicted. And you'll be like, okay, how would you do this more and more? And you start investing, and then you realize all of a sudden you've got this big check in your account, you don't know what happened, and that's what you should be doing, you know? So, are there any more questions? Asana, yes?
Speaking, do we need to like register e-commerce businesses?
Let me tell you, legally what you want to do, right, is you, look, this is a trick for everybody. The more money you make personally, the more salary you get. SaaS charges you 45% tax. But if you have a company, the most they can ever charge you is 28%. So, if you're really smart, you have to start operating as a company. So if you got your name, register something in your company and send all the money to that. Then SARS will come to you like, oh, but you made 500,000 rand. I didn't make 500,000 rand. Business made. And then you know what's the nice thing about that? They don't charge you on that 500,000 rand. They charge you on the profit of that. So if your business costs 300 rand, like 20,000 rand to run, you start letting people know like, hey, but this is why employment is important, because the more people you employ, the less your profit is. You pay yourself a salary, and then SARS will come and say, hey, you made a profit of, you made 500,000 rand, but there's only 100,000 rand here. You bought a little bit of real estate or something, we're going to give tax benefit, but we're only going to charge you 28%. But if you made 500,000 rand litmas into your bank account, SARS is taking half. So what would you rather do? Exactly. So that's why you need to start thinking about these ways, start maneuvering, start figuring out. You've got to start seeing yourself as a business. And then from there you'll be alright. Are there any more questions? I know people have to go. Yes?
So, sorry, I'm speaking. So if you said that was focused on avoiding textiles, what other products did you
No, don't. I'm just giving you from my thing. Look, textiles. If you have a business right now that you're already selling and stuff like that, then continue what you do. Right now, if I was you guys and I want to just start a textile business, I'd go to Breed, I'd go to Cotton Center, and I'd look for people who can manufacture my stuff here at a low price, and then have a sort of digital presence on social media, have a website, and like a big company that's selling here. The problem when you start importing things from China, which is textiles, is first of all the sizing, you know, and also if you want to order a large amount of stock, they don't do it over the plane, they do over freight and sea. So they take 60 days and stuff like that, it may take too long and stuff like that. But you can, if you've got the people, the one thing that I want you guys to make a decision, don't take out your own money. The only time you take out your own money is the beginning when you're learning. But everything else, let your customer pay for it, you know. So if your customer likes that top, and you see exchange it up to price, let them pay for it, and you can do that. But I think again, you know the thing about textiles, if you think about that business and you're starting right, think about your competitors. Think about when you're buying a shirt, how easy it is for you to buy a shirt and stuff like that. You can literally walk down here and buy, you know, go to all these little stores, you see a nice t-shirt, you buy. It's simple, right? Now think about now, you have to compete with them. People want to come to your store, so you need to have a really big brand to do textiles. Think about Fashion Nova. Think about Shein and Fashion Nova. That's where people are buying from right now, you know? They feel comfortable, and Shein had to build this brand, and even some people gave me Shein like a lot of disrespect. But if you have a good brand, people know you, they believe in you, and they got that kind of stuff, then I go that way. But to start an e-commerce brand, I wouldn't say go start the textiles, because it'll be sizing requirements. Now you have to order stock, and then the guy. So another thing with ordering stock abroad is that they have this thing called the minimum order requirement. Sometimes it can be 50, sometimes it can be 1, and if you want to customize that do your own logo, your own packaging, it gets more and more expensive. So it'd be so irresponsible for me to say start with a textile, because now imagine you just ordered 50 shirts, the price is horrible, and it's taking you 60 days to receive that. And then you know with fashion, it's seasonal. You know, you might have something that's like for winter, you receive this thing literally 2 months afterwards, it's summer. Now you got dead stock, and now you're selling it at prices that's undercut. So every time you walk to a store and you see clearance sale, you think to yourself, oh, you bought that shit from China, it's too late now, you know, and you don't want to do that. You want to buy a product that you know, okay,